Self-awareness makes you harder to control, not because it turns you into a human lie detector, because pressure works best when you keep rewriting your own experience for somebody else's comfort. The joke cuts, and you call yourself sensitive. The advice corners you, and you call it concern. Closeness disappears when you say no, and you call the distance your fault. One moment can be misunderstood. A pattern has a receipt. Here, control does not mean every disagreement, awkward comment, or request. It means pressure that depends on your self-doubt, silence, or fear of losing connection. It may be deliberate, habitual, defensive, or barely examined. You do not need a perfect theory of someone's motive to notice what the arrangement keeps requiring from you. This is where self-awareness matters. You begin to know what you felt before somebody explained it away. You notice which values are yours, which roles you inherited, and which version of you gets rewarded in the room. Research on self-concept clarity does not say clear people become immune to influence. It links a clearer sense of self with more active, cooperative conflict behavior. Clarity is not armor. It is a better reference point, but your first feeling is not a final verdict. Rejection sensitivity can tilt ambiguous events toward rejection. Hypervigilance can make neutral cues feel threatening. That does not make discomfort useless or make you irrational. It means a signal deserves investigation, not worship. The disciplined move is neither "I imagined everything," nor "I can see their hidden evil." It is "something changed in me." What actually happened? Maybe a friend makes you the punchline, then says the joke proves you cannot take a joke. Maybe a mentor's advice always points toward the life that keeps you dependent on their approval. Maybe a partner becomes warm when you agree, and unavailable when you do not. Maybe help arrives with an invoice collected months later. None of these moments alone proves malice, but each can be described, compared, and tested. Start with behavior. What words were used? What action followed? Who was present? What changed after you answered honestly? They manipulated me is a conclusion. They asked for my opinion, interrupted 3 times, then withdrew the invitation after I disagreed, is observable. Behavior keeps you close to reality. It also gives an innocent misunderstanding somewhere specific to be repaired. Then test repetition. Does the same move return across situations? Does it appear when you choose differently, receive attention, set a limit, or stop performing an old role? Most important, what happens after clear feedback? A workable relationship can include clumsiness, embarrassment, or defensiveness and still make room for repair. A pressure pattern may protect itself by changing the subject, punishing the boundary, recruiting an audience, or making your reaction the only problem worth discussing. Then count the cost. Not as a cold spreadsheet, but as a question. What must you keep paying for this relationship to feel stable? Your sleep, your time, your private judgment, your opportunities, your right to say no without writing a legal defense? If closeness survives only when you shrink, the arrangement is not protecting intimacy. It is protecting access to your self-erasure. Use that sharp language for a repeated structure, not one bad night. Behavior, repetition, and cost are not a clinical test. They are a calibration method. Stress, cultural expectations, mismatched communication, and ordinary insecurity can produce friction without coercion. The difference becomes clearer when reality is named. Can both people be specific? Can both influence the relationship? Can a limit exist without humiliation? Can harm be repaired without demanding that the hurt person deny it first? Your response should fit the evidence. For one unclear moment, ask a concrete question. For a repeated move, name the behavior and state the boundary. For continued pressure, reduce the access that lets the pattern keep running. You can delay a reply, move a conversation out of public view, decline a topic, document what was said, or leave. You do not need to punish, expose, diagnose, or win. Stop volunteering your confusion as the price of admission. Power and safety change the route. If there are credible threats, stalking, violence, coercion, or a history of retaliation, direct confrontation may be unsafe. Distance, documentation where safe, and qualified local support can matter more than one perfect sentence. A boundary is not measured by how dramatic it sounds. It is measured by whether it protects choice. Self-awareness does not require isolation. Autonomy and closeness are not opposites. Research suggests that feeling more autonomous within a relationship can coexist with accommodation, direct support seeking, and relational well-being. The goal is not to become untouchable. It is to participate without disappearing. Good relationships can challenge you, disappoint you, and change your mind. They do not need you to abandon your own record before the conversation begins. So, notice the discomfort. Refuse both automatic self-blame and automatic certainty. Return to behavior, watch repetition, count the cost. Then choose the smallest response that protects reality and choice. You may never know exactly what another person intended. You can still decide what you will participate in. The point of self-awareness is not to become impossible to influence. It is to become difficult to erase.